The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com. Okay, welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
And now we're going to talk about a story that broke last night. I think it was around maybe
late
8:30 p.m. or something is when I first heard about it. TMZ reported that Derrick Rose is involved in a bad story if it ends up being true. That's for sure. Apparently, this involved his ex-girlfriend, and apparently she was drugged and gang raped, and apparently Derrick Rose was sort of in the center of all that, which hopefully, obviously, this comes out to be false. But even so, the fact that it's reported kind of tells you that Derrick Rose is not hanging out with the right people.
Yep, same with Patrick Kane.
Yeah, same with Patrick Kane, too. And when Patrick Kane's away from the Blackhawks and away from Chicago, he doesn't really have people watching over him. And that's a big reason why he's in a lot of hot water now, too.
Oh, no, the Cubs just made a move.
Oh, they did. Let's hear it before we go on.
Wait till you listen to this. Cubs acquire Fernando Rodney from the Mariners for cash or a player to be named later.
Well, what do you know? They got a pretty durable bullpen pitcher. He throws hard. I mean, his ERA is kind of high, but he throws hard.
Yeah, it was a 5.78 ERA.
He's a better version of Mott, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's just not Spanish for Edwin Jackson.
No. I think that's nearly impossible. And Rodney has had good success.
He's had good seasons.
Very good with Tampa Bay.
He's had good seasons, and he's had really bad ones.
This move makes sense because he's been with Joe Madden.
Yeah, he had his best season of his career with Joe. I mean, I hope that he can get that 5.78 ERA down.
He pitches a couple scoreless innings, it'll go down.
It gets even better. Guess who they designated for assignment?
Who?
It's a good riddance to someone.
Who?
Schlitter.
Oh, okay. Designated for assignment.
Brian Schlitter. You won't be missed. Good riddance to Brian Schlitter.
I don't think we'll see him at all this year. Unless the bullpen really takes him.
The bullpen would really have to, everyone would have to get injured for Brian Schlitter to get another chance.
So, new additions since the trade deadline. They got Tommy Hunter on the trade deadline, and they also got Dan Herron for the starter, and now Fernando Rodney to, I guess he would fill in that middle relief, maybe a setup role occasionally. He won't be closing because Rondon has done such a nice job. So,
yeah, and it looks like Ross Cup was optioned.
He was only here for like 24 hours.
Yeah, might have been less than that. Hey, Matt Caesar's still here.
Yeah, he's okay.
I mean, I'm sure he'll be back down once David Ross comes. I'm sure Ross will be back by Saturday for John Lester.
Right. Yeah, so that's very interesting news that broke here on Sports Renegades, just for you.
Yeah. The best, honestly, the best part is designating Schlitter for assignment.
Yes.
It's not acquiring Fernando Rodney. It's getting rid of Brian Schlitter.
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel good about that, and that's definitely an upgrade. Brian Schlitter for Fernando Rodney as far as who's up and who's down. So
Marmol would be an upgrade over Brian Schlitter at this point.
That's a stretch. Ryan. I don't know about that.
At least Marmol could get guys out. I know he gave
maybe the 2010-2011 Marmol, not the 2012-2013 Marmol.
That was the Marmol that walked the bases loaded and then would strike out three guys, sometimes give up a run. I don't know. Schlitter, it seemed like he couldn't get any. He couldn't get anyone out. His sinker sunk right onto the barrel of the bat, and then it left the yard usually.
Yeah, not good. So, yes, those are the Cubs news that has just been made. So that'll be fresh for the Dodgers series. And, okay, back to the Rose stuff. Man, we go from happy to sad again.
Good riddance, Brian Schlitter.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic about that. The thing with Rose, he's obviously not hanging with the right people. And I heard on the radio today, it's a different case than the Kane thing in the fact that it's not a criminal case, which is what Patrick Kane's allegations are. and the Derrick Rose allegations, which are still very early, hasn't even been 24 hours since the story broke, is a civil case, which means it probably won't go to trial, which means the ex-girlfriend would probably get paid off because she probably wants some sort of compensation for what happened, which, I mean, if I was her and this is actually true, I wouldn't be looking for compensation. I would be looking for these people to be locked up, the people that did this. Obviously you would be very upset, and it took over 2 years, which is a little fishy to me. If you were that concerned and that serious about it, you would have gone to authorities almost right away, right? As soon as you woke up from the drugging and gang rape, you'd go up right away.
2 years after the incident happened.
Right. Obviously, she's probably embarrassed by it and, didn't really want to ruin Rose's reputation because I'm sure, after they broke up, they were probably still friends and, they probably talked to each other at least at some point. But yeah, that's not good. And he dated her from 2011 to 2013, which I think you said, Ryan Risky, which I'm pretty sure that's right. And, they dated for a couple years. And, Derrick Rose, he's been injured a lot, so he was spending more time at home. But you sort of have to think, if this happened, it probably was during the off season. Of course, we don't know when it happened yet, but if it was during the season, that's even a smaller probability that Rose was even there when this happened.
Yeah, now we know what Derrick Rose was doing while he was rehabbing from his knee injuries and knee surgeries.
Maybe that's why it never got 100% healed.
Yeah, this is what he was doing instead of rehabbing.
Oh, he was rehabbing, just not the right way. It's not good. It's a tough situation. But here's the other thing. With Patrick Kane, we know. He's not a very private person as far as Patrick Kane, but Derrick Rose is pretty private. We don't know a lot about him in his personal life or anything, so we don't really, know what he's capable of or what he's done in his past. Where Patrick Kane, he's already had a couple, issues with the law when he was younger.
Yeah, it's almost like he's a repeat offender.
Right, and, Derrick Rose is very private. We don't really know what's up with him, except he has a couple kids. That's about all we know for his private life, and he has a huge $250 million or something deal with Adidas, and he has a deal with Giordano's Pizza, too, and stuff. So, he's a Chicago guy, definitely.
He's got that lifetime deal at Adidas, who makes awful shoes.
Right. Well, not just that. That they've also, they made a bad decision sticking with Rose. He kept getting injured, so they kept, losing out on money that way too. Because
I don't know, could they back out of that deal? That's like 12 years.
I think if they could have backed out of it, they would have already done it.
After the second injury, the first one they had to stay with him. I don't think he can just back out of a 12-year deal after like 2 or 3 years.
No, I don't think so. And so Derrick Rose is definitely in a lot of trouble. I don't think his reputation is going to be tarnished the way that Kane's is going to be tarnished. I think
Kane's reputation was already tarnished from some things that he's already done.
It was already tarnished, but now, could we possibly see people booing him at the opening ceremony?
No.
No?
If he was as bad as Brian Schlitter, then maybe.
See, I think there's going to be some boos in the crowd.
I don't see it.
I think people will forget about that when he scores his first goal, but I think...
I can't see it because people are celebrating their third Stanley Cup in 6 years. I don't think anyone's going to boo any players.
Right, and we know he's been a big part of that, obviously. But I don't know. I feel like people are going to be looking at him way differently, not just the underage drinking and not just, the out late partying, but now that you add this on top of it, and even if nothing comes of this... even if nothing comes with this story with Patrick Kane, I think his reputation is hurt even worse.
I'm sure around the league people are just thinking that this guy is a loser. He shouldn't be part of the league, and I'm sure Patrick Kane will be getting boos at other stadiums.
For sure.
Granted, a lot of teams don't like him.
No.
Just because he's always scoring goals. And Minnesota, I'm sure they don't like him. Philadelphia, they don't like him.
Well, St. Louis already has a horrible fan base as it is.
St. Louis, yeah, they have an awful bandwagon fan base. They have such
Nashville
fake fans.
too. I don't know what happened with Nashville, but they have a horrible fan base too.
Yeah, theirs isn't as bad as the Blues. At least Nashville's had like some fans that are there for a while. I think part of the Nashville situation is the ownership tries to make the fans worse than they are. Like, oh, let's sing let's have the fans sing the national anthem so Blackhawks fans aren't screaming.
Right.
So I mean, I think part of that is the front office is making the fans out worse than they are.
The thing about that is everyone copied the Blackhawks. The Hawks have been cheering since the early '80s. They've been cheering during the national anthem.
I think they were
at
cheering,
Chicago Stadium.
It started in the Stanley Cup when they played the Edmonton Oilers when they had Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, I believe that was the early '80s,
and I believe that was Game 3. Game 3 was when it started.
Right, and they've been doing it ever since. I mean, everyone else who does something, everyone else who sort of copies the Hawks but does something a little different. I mean,
no one's got cheering during the anthem. I'm sure a lot of fan bases think that's disgraceful.
Right, which it's the complete opposite of
It
disgraceful.
is.
But but then going back to Derrick Rose, I don't think his reputation is completely tarnished, and I don't think it will be. I think he's already done as much as he can do.
I mean, now if this happened
with all his injuries,
I mean, now if this was recent, like a month or two ago, then it might be a different story.
It's a little tough. The fact that I feel like a lot of the facts are fabricated, and I feel like TMZ being the first to report it, that's already a red flag. So no one else really has reported it, or at least put out a story on it, except for them.
Yeah, when you texted me, this Rose story is not true. I was just I went looking
said
up
something else. But
what Rose story?
Right, he didn't even know about it.
What Rose story? I never found it until my mom's like, "Did you hear about Derrick Rose?" I'm like, "Yeah, I heard about it. I haven't read anything about it." It's like, "Oh, I found it on TMZ." I'm like,
"Yeah,
of course. They're probably the only ones that have reported it."
My initial reaction was that it was bull, and I really think it is for the most part. Obviously, something happened, and there's always truth to everything, even if it's a little bit of truth. But I don't believe Derrick Rose was a part of this. I think his friends, his posse, the people that he hangs out with, we know they're not very good people. But also, I don't think he would tarnish his reputation by participating in something like this. Did he know about it? Possibly. But even if he knew about it, that doesn't necessarily mean he's at fault himself.
Yep, and then the Bulls released the statement that every single team releases when something like this happens. We are waiting for the facts. It is unacceptable to comment at this time.
Right, which, I mean, obviously.
What's the point of making a statement if you're going to say the same thing? Like, every team says the same thing.
I think they sort of have to.
The same thing. It's like, change it up a little. It's like, oh, we're hopeful that it's not true. Well, most of the time it is true.
Right. Well, and also most of the time, nothing ever comes of this. I don't think Derrick Rose will be pleading, not guilty or guilty for anything. I think the ex-girlfriend will be well compensated and she'll move on with her life. And I mean, if anything, that's what's going to happen. The Patrick Kane thing is a little different. Patrick Kane thing, he's being charged as a criminal, possibly.
Oh, you want to know? Which
is a lot worse.
There's only been one place the only thing I really read about the Patrick Kane thing this past week was by none other than Sports Mockery.
Oh, of course.
And you know what they said? They said,
what rumor did they break out today?
It was like a couple of days ago. It said, report Patrick Kane to be cleared of all charges very soon.
Okay, I mean that's something we could come up with off the top of our heads too.
Yeah,
season's right around the corner. It sort of makes sense, right? I mean, but who reported that? Nobody.
They make such awful reports, like oh, Cubs are going to trade for Cole Hamels within the next 24 hours because Cole Hamels is pitching against the Cubs, and then it's like anyone could come up with that. That's a good point. You and I could come up with that. Like
anyone can come up with that story, which tells you
sources. Sources, Patrick Kane to be cleared soon, and then the source ends up being me.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, and of course they had their Derrick Rose stories. Derrick Rose's reputation ruined, Bulls ruined, blah, blah, blah. They always go to the negative. I mean, I think we should be worried about the playing time with Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose together on the floor, because apparently they don't mesh very well together.
Yep.
That's what we should be worried about.
And it sure doesn't seem like they like each other too much.
No, and the problem is Derrick Rose has to take that last shot, and he has to be the hero, and it only worked one game. It worked in Game 3 against the Cavaliers.
Well, it also kind of worked in Game 4.
A little bit.
Wait.